Born in the busy streets of New York City in 1924, a young boy named Lee Marvin learned early that life needed toughness and the ability to bounce back. From a family full of military courage, his father, who lived through World War I, and his brother, who was meant to join the service, he learned a simple, hard toughness that would shape his future. But under that hard outside, there were scars from battles both real and personal, creating a man who lived with raw honesty, even when it meant pointing out the fake people in his world. Today we look into the life of this unbreakable spirit, showing the 7 coworkers he didn't like, and why his honest truth still matters. As a kid, Lee moved between schools in sunny Florida and tough New Jersey. He was always the restless type who hated rules and routines. That wild energy, that refusal to fit in, showed the fire he would later show on screen. Then came the storm of World War II. At only 18, he joined the Marines, jumping into the chaos of the Pacific. In the fierce fight for Saipan, bullets hit him, hurting his lower body and nerves, leaving him in pain for over a year while he got better. He got a medal for his injuries. But the real cost was deeper, leaving invisible marks that made his acting of tough fighters feel very real. What made him different? While others in Hollywood pretended to be heroes, he had faced the mud, the fear, and the blood himself. After the war, he moved through bad jobs until luck pushed him onto a stage at a local theater, fixing pipes one day and replacing a sick actor the next. That spark lit something in him. He worked on his skill in New York acting classes, his tall body and scarred, intense look drawing attention. Soon he jumped from theater to movies. Starting small as the bad guy in serious dramas and westerns, his big chances came in the 50s, stealing scenes as a cruel criminal in a hot crime story, or building the fear in a small-town fight. He became the person to call for a scary role, putting every part with a rough edge. But the 60s changed things. Lead roles showed his range, like playing a wild outlaw fighting against legends in a classic showdown, or playing 2 parts in a crazy comedy as a drunk shooter and his evil twin. That double role won him the top acting award, showing he could be likable and scary at the same time. Riding that success, he led big movies, like a messy group of misfits attacking enemy lines in a war thriller that grabbed audiences and inspired many copies. He jumped into smooth revenge stories as an unstoppable force, or even sang songs in a Gold Rush musical, his rough voice adding surprise heart. Yet success didn't calm him. He avoided the spotlight, wanting quiet breaks on the water, or in desert hiding places, far from the glamour and work. And he admitted his problems, like the drinking that sometimes messed up his life. If this story touches your heart, please share it. Even in later years, he gave serious performances and brutal survival stories, family fights, spy chases, and cold mysteries. Age only made his presence stronger, a fading echo of old-school strength in a changing movie business. His final film, working with an action star as a tired-out commander, was a fitting nod to the fighter inside him. Away from the movies, his world was a mix of love and loss. In the early 50s, he married his first wife, starting a family of 4 kids, a boy and 3 girls, who kept him steady in the craziness. They saw the gentle dad behind the tough face, a side hidden from fans. But the demands of fame, his drinking problems, and wild moods hurt their bond. After a long time apart, they split up in 1967. a sadness that affected their lives. Years later, she wrote an honest book about their Hollywood ups and downs, showing unfaithfulness that added darkness to his story. After that, a rocky romance with a partner threw him into a famous legal fight about living together without being married, which interested the whole country. But calm came when he got back together with his first love from when he was young. They got married in 1970, and she stayed with him through the end of his career and health problems until the end. After he died, she told their story in a warm book, showing the soft person under the rough outside. A man who loved deeply, laughed easily, and loved quiet times. Now imagine this, a straight-talking giant, not afraid to upset people. He never made things sound nice. He said things plainly, especially about other actors who bothered him. In an honest moment, he named 7 actors who really annoyed him. Each problem shows his no-nonsense way of life. First, the big star of westerns himself. Fans thought they would get along because they did similar movies, but Lee was angry about the guy acting like a hero without really serving in the military, especially after fights on set and competing for awards. He acts the part fine, Lee Marvin said, but he'd fall apart in a real fight. Their differences in beliefs only made things worse. Then there was the serious-faced action star competitor, who Lee thought was cold and shallow, all muscle with no depth. Sharing tough movie sets, Lee found him unfriendly, like talking to a statue. "At least a rock has character," he would joke. Next, the easy-going tough guy. Lee called him out for being lazy, showing up drunk and not trying. At a party, they argued. Lee criticized his laziness, and the guy shot back about Lee being too intense. The bald, charming actor. Lee saw him as someone who showed off, more style than real skill, especially during a war movie with many stars, where fighting for attention caused real tension. The director had to step in to keep peace. The royal-like star with the shaved head also bothered him. Too proud, always trying to be the center of attention. Lee skipped an event just to avoid him, preferring anything to that ego. The smooth, handsome star. Just fake to Lee. All polish without courage. He was annoyed by how the guy moved easily on charm, while Lee fought for respect, with his war scars and all. He wouldn't survive a real fight, Lee said with disgust. And the famous tough guy actor? A surprising choice. But Lee hated his spoiled attitude, his early exits from movies, demanding special treatment. A canceled project only made things worse. These problems showed Lee's values. A veteran who cared about toughness over glamour, realness over acting nice. Fair or not, he told the truth, burning bridges instead of pretending to be friendly. But time ran out. Hurt by smoking and drinking, his body got weak. Late 1986 brought hospital stays for lung problems, and issues from medicine and his stomach led to surgery. Then at 63, sudden heart failure took him away. He was buried with honors among war heroes. His legacy lives on, not just in movies that feel very real, but in the strong spirit that inspired others. If his story moved you, please click like, subscribe, and share to keep these stories alive.